Alright, episode 12, Invisible Merton. And, this episode not so good. In the episode, Merton, which, have we talked about how what's weird of a name Merton is, by the way? Although, anyway, Merton is reacquainted with an old enemy in that of Alvin Blackburn, who is an old member of the fantasy guild that Merton beat in a game of Dungeons and Dragons by cheating, and then he was his father was transferred to Transylvania. Now he's come back and he says he's an actual sorcerer. The actor they have to play Alistair, as he's called, he says his name is Alistair, and then for the rest of the episode, Merton refers to him as Alistair Black. No one is ever truly good. No one is ever truly evil. I'm sure it's not spelled the same, but he never said Black. He just said his name was Alistair. The actor they got to play Alistair, he's way too hamming it up. Just everything, the way he talks, like this, he moves his head, like this. Just, it's too much. He's way too hokey of a character. And then the subplot as Tommy's parents realizing, that he's sneaking in after a curfew and stuff, and it's like, well, why is he doing it? I think we're supposed to believe that it's fighting bad guy stuff, but is he? I don't get why. I don't know. Then his parents have like the torn pants and the torn shirts. Why is he not getting rid of those and buying new clothes by himself? He's a teenager, he can do it. But no, it's a whole subplot where he goes to see the school psychiatrist, and then people think he's got mental issues because he goes to see him, and I don't know, it's really unnecessary. Meanwhile, Alistair uses the spell that starts turning Merton invisible. He'll reverse the spell if Merton admits that Alistair is a better sorcerer than he is. And the logical conclusion to this would be that by the end of the episode, Merton would admit he cheated and that Alistair is the superior sorcerer. That's not how it goes. Alistair also becomes the new president of the Fantasy Guild, which, as Merton explained in the first episode, he was the only member left because the only other member graduated. Apparently he got new members and he's trying to become president. But why would you have to go through the other school people to vote him president? Should it be just the guild? Apparently Tommy's vote counts, but Alistair still won somehow. Despite the fact that he looked like a complete goober when trying to put the spell on Merton and it didn't work. He still won for some reason, because I don't know. Merton wakes up the next day to find that his hand is missing, which looks fine until they start to make more of his body disappear. It's a very aged green screen effect where he's obviously wearing a green screen suit, and then walking around. It looks terrible. There's even a scene where Tommy has his head in a book bag and he's carrying him around, and we see the view of his head in the bag, but then when it's a wide shot, they still have him in the suit walking behind him. You didn't in the green screen suit, because you could see the green screen outline, and it's like, well, you didn't need that. He could have just been carrying the bag on his shoulder and say he's in there. You did, and then cut to it. You're spending more money than you need to on that suit and green screen effect. You could just had him carry in the bag, and it would look more realistic that he was invisible. And then later there's a scene where they were trying to sneak on Alistair, and you see he's just a head by now, but he's holding this fruit basket, and you can see the outline of the suit. Again, you hook the fruit thing up to wires and moved it around, it would look more realistic. You're spending more money than you need for an effect that looks terrible. Stacy's only contribution in this episode is that she finds out about the psychiatrist thing, and when he runs off, it's like, oh, at least I know why you do it now, and that you're getting help for it. And it's like, by the way, this whole psychiatrist thing is never mentioned after this episode. There's a whole sequence where his parents, it's one of those things you see in shows where the parents try to talk to the kids, but they think they have to talk hip, so they're all dressed like they're 90s kids, and they go, yo, what's up, homie, and stuff, and the hip hop music in the back. It's like, no. No. And then Dean's like, maybe you should talk to his big bros. We talks to him, and it's just like, remember when I was addicted to TV? I'm like, was? And he's like, oh, and they sent me to see a psychiatrist. So they got an appointment with you and Mr. Shashevsky. There's a name. And that's, like, the psychiatrist. But, how does Merton get turned back in? Well, first of all, it's revealed that he's naked going around there because the clothes still appear on him, which we already know because he had a glove on before. No, he's naked. That's got to be cold, which leads to a gag later. But so rather than coming forward and admitting that he cheated and admitting that Alistair is the more experienced warlock, wizard, whatever. No. Alistair, they try to do a trick, which, for all intents and purposes, should have worked, but they're presenting that Alistair Black is smarter. The way this character is presented, it does not come across smarter than Merton. In fact, I think this guy is dumber than TNT combined. That's how dumb he acts and moves around, the way the character is presented to us. I think he's dumber than TNT combined, but whatever. So they hatch a plan where Tommy will make believe that Merton is completely invisible, because they say once he's invisible completely, he's permanently invisible. We get the standard scene of Merton trying to reverse it. It doesn't work. Why do you add those scenes to shows and movies? Okay, we have a cure. It doesn't work. It's the middle of an episode. We know it's not going to work. Like, oh, we got this device that will help us. It overloads or something happens, and they have to wait till the actual end of the episode for everything to be reversed. I hate that in TV shows. Oh, we found a way to cure it. It's not the cure. They did Power Rangers was the worst thing of it. During Dino Thunder, Tommy is turned invisible. First of all, he's stuck in stone, and then stuck in ember. They get him out of it. He's then stuck in his suit. They finally get him out of the suit, but he's invisible. And then, this is because Jason David Frank wasn't available at the time, so they just didn't do voice stuff. But still, it just have him stuck in the ember until Jason David Frank is able to come back. But here, it's just like, that's over several episodes. I've seen it done so many times, like halfway through, so okay, we got it, we can get it, and it doesn't work because we have to wait till actually the end of the episode before it can be reversed. Then don't do the thing in the middle of the episode where you give us hope, where you try to reverse it, because we know it's not going to work. So it, in the defense of this episode, this is probably one of the earlier shows to do it, but still. So, it doesn't work when they try to trick him to get the spell book. He's already figured out they're going to do it somehow, and it's a different book. And so he uses the magic spell book to put rope around Tommy. He manifests the rope. I don't know. And so Merton's like, okay, I'm a superior sorceress. I'm going to turn Tommy into a werewolf. Chumbawamba, Wu-Tang Clan. I've used this as a spell before. Chumbawamba, Wu-Tang Clan. So I've used it in retrospect. I've used it after this, but in hindsight. But it comes across so cheesy. Tommy wolfs out, and then convinces Alistair that Merton is the superior sorcerer, and so he reverses it, and Merton is naked. As it's lunchtime, Tommy runs off. It's lunchtime. He's naked, and then he has a spell book, and he makes it disappear. So that's later. And Tommy and his family play Monopoly, and Dean tries to cheat. But yeah, this episode was nothing to look back on. If you're trying to binge watch Merton centric episodes, and this is one to watch because it is Merton centric one. If you watch all the Merton centric ones, the Merton centric episodes get better. There's a Please to Eat You and one in season 3 that I believe are better than these, but it just comes across so cheesy, especially the acting from the actor that got to play Alistair. It just and Alistair gets transferred to California because his dad is getting transferred again, so they're moving to California, Venice Beach. Wow, sunny all the time. But yeah, that's it. Excuse me. That's the end, and because he's a one episode only character, so they had to get rid of him, and so there's that. But he's never mentioned again, never brought up, nothing. They even made his book disappear, so they can't use that in a future episode. Not that they would. Sometimes they have leftover stuff they could use, but like the librarian book, the book with the librarian in it. It's in Merton's lair, but they never come back to it. But yeah, this episode's just. Let's just move on to the next one because I don't want to talk about it anymore.